Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. You can keep your conniving money when you've been a corrupt bum. In a bills there be money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bills there be money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker, neighbor, neighbor, joker, neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. Now I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
Yes, I'm your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. I'm coming to you live from the studios of KAMS TV, located in Buxton. We're quickly approaching yet another anniversary. That will be the second anniversary of KAMS TV. Give thanks and praise. We have weathered the storm, and we have become the storm. Somebody said you can calm the storm. I said I am the storm. We are the storm, you know. We are the storm. This movement here, KAMS TV family, we're the storm. Don't worry yourself. We're going to goddamn doing it. I said so. Let the power fall on I for I. Lots of things to talk about, but, you know, given the time and so on, I don't desire to talk about too many things. But let me start with one of them trench crap. Oh, he come early, Kev Samaru. Every student will be given $30,000 student grant by this July. The Granger PNC, AP, and UAFC government took away the students and fed them, well, he said feed themselves with $1.6 billion. Again, let me say this. I don't say the Granger administration was, what should I say, the paramount of virtues. Every man has his vice. Some is food. Some is sex. Some is barber chairs. Some is gun license. Some is people little girl children. Every man has his vice. And governments are made up of people. And so you're going to find a lot of vices among people. What is important, however, is the ability to keep them under control, keep them under wraps. The Granger government has had its fair share of scandals, some public, some not so public. The PPP has had more than its fair share of scandals. More than its fair share of scandals. For 23 plus years, you got a thieving cabal. A cabal that has no interest in the well-being of the citizens of this country. You listened to Jordan yesterday. They see roads that are properly built and improved and cater for development and has a futuristic outlook as too much to give the Guyanese people, while they're siphoning off the nation's patrimony for themselves and their cronies. Granger didn't see $10,000 as too much to give to students. He saw it as too little to give to them. And he also, in my understanding, was of the opinion that giving $10,000 or $30,000 cash to the parents and guardians of students will not ensure the students get what they really need. Because $10,000, $15,000, as the country perhaps could have afforded at that time, was just a drop in the ocean. As $30,000 now is a drop in the ocean. I'm a parent. $30,000 student grant for a term or a year. I think it's a year. $30,000 will barely suffice. Well, let's say if it will suffice, it will barely suffice for a month. I can sit here and do the math mentally. $30,000 can't even fully equip a child to go back to school. I can sit here and tell you as a parent, for this term alone, I done buy 2 footwear for my child costing over $40,000. And I have one school-age child. Right? $30,000 in this era, in this Iowa, is joke. But what would have been more significant is the fact that under the Granger administration, those children would have gone to school every single day because they hadn't the stress to find transportation cost. There were buses, boats, bicycles, and whatever else to move them from point A to school and back to point A. No stress on the parent. The only stress was that they get their children out to the road on time to join the vehicles that will take them to school. You can compute the transportation cost for some parents. I wonder how much a school bus now. You know, we contract these minibuses to take our children to school. I wonder what is the termly cost or yearly cost, because $30,000 grant is a year story we're talking about. But not only were they assured of going to school, because they didn't have to find the transportation cost, they were assured that once they got to school, there was a meal waiting for them. There was a breakfast program. And it wasn't anything that was just dashed together. In fact, I have a schoolmate who was perhaps the coordinator of the school's breakfast program. I know she played a meaningful role there. The meals were actually designed by dietitians. And so they didn't just get him piece bread. They were getting well thought out meals, nutritious. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. The dietitians and doctors and everybody tell you that. So they were getting that. Transportation and breakfast to start with. And assuming this $30,000 can cover transportation and breakfast cost for a student for 1 year, the bonuses would have been they had books, they had bags, they had boots, they had uniforms. Those are the bonuses. So the $30,000 still can't make it. Samaru, is that his name? Samaru? Some people are so insignificant I don't remember their names for too long. But I think it is Samaru. Or whatever his name, who cares? I'm more concerned about the myth that he's attempting to peddle. You see, for some people it's money only. They only see the dollar sign. And the good book says, oh, for the love of money, or the love of money is the root of all evil. Why the root of all evil? People do all kinds of things for money. People do all kinds of things for money. They sell themselves, they sell their souls, they sell their children's soul. And so for $30,000, oh, look Uncle Anil there. I can't tell you what turned up when I thought about Uncle Anil. Go up, Uncle Anil, and give you a kiss, too. Because Uncle Anil will get a raise. It's telling your children. All kinds of compromises you're making for money. Because you can't see a greater good. The water taxes that were placed on the Berbice River were taking children, nurses, pensioners, teachers, and so on, to and from their destination free of cost. Which $30,000 could compensate for that on a monthly basis? Which $30,000? 30 US perhaps in Guyana. But Guyana, $30,000 is a drop in the ocean, of trials and struggles that parents have in this country. So come again. Every Guyanese should welcome the $30,000. But they should demand more. Like this morning's program is titled, Don't Give Up, Rise Up. Don't give up, rise up. Don't settle for less, demand more. You just saw the Vice report that said a so-called vice president is getting $5,000 or $5 million per deal, dependent on the deal that he facilitates. And you're shouting praises and willing to genuflect and bend over for $30,000 a year for your children as student grant. What's wrong with some of y'all? What's wrong with some of y'all? I don't care if the thief, so long as I get the pittance. That's the mentality some of y'all got. That's your mentality. And that's the mentality you're passing on to your children. Henry Yvonne says this defeat is bad this morning. I wonder why. Well, GT&T has been having problems. You know, GT&T is one of the worst telecommunication companies perhaps in the whole world. I can't see they've been doing this thing for so long and they can't get it right yet. Come on, man. And again, it's because Guyanese are not rising up. They're accepting what is being given to them. Mediocrity. We are settling for mediocrity in this country. Too much mediocrity. People tell me you got a telephone company operating in here. Since when GT&T was here, right? I know they must have done... the contract expired and was renewed at least on 2 occasions. And since the rain smiles, only have a smile and say, I'm coming, and the internet gets bad. Share the life. We're not at 600 yet. Remember, I said we are going to 1500 this morning, and you're all in halfway yet, and it's what time? 7:36, 24 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. We got about an hour before we open up the lines, eh? And we got to get to 1500 before that. Right? We have to stop settling for less. We have to stop giving up so quickly. When your political leaders in this mafia organization called the PPP call themselves government, can actually sit and project and predict, louder man, they're going to protest in the next 2 hours and then they're going to go home. And they're going to come back tomorrow for another 2 hours and then they're going to go home. So let us make arrangements. I'm not going to go into office until after lunch, when they got home. You must not be predictable. Louder man, them are going to go and protest until Sunday when the dead done bury. After the dead done bury, the protest gets buried with it. This is the kind of projections these people make. And so they're least bothered by what you think or what you do. So long as the status quo remains. Louder man, the square the revolution, they ain't going to obstruct nothing. They're going to come into Central Georgia where the main center of business is. And so those who are getting monies to support our campaign during elections campaign and so on, will not be affected. So they ain't going to complain and put pressure on us. Huh? It can't be predictable. You cannot give up. You have to rise up. Big up the people of Golden Grove. They moved the protest yesterday, the family in particular. Unless people get a different understanding and tell themselves the protest in front of the police special branch TSU area was small, and the protest in front of Brock Bend Ministry of Home Affairs was small. Let me make it clear. The size of the protest was designed by the family. Those people there were immediate family members of Quinton Bacchus. And as I understand it, they didn't want a big crowd because they wanted to be there and send a specific message. Right? And I think it was effective, it was impactful, and it should be maintained. What the relatives of Bacchus is showing is that they're not willing to give up on him. They're willing to stand up for him. And Guyanese need to take a whole book out of their page. Not a page out of their book. They need to take the whole book and show this government, the likes of Bar Jagdeo and Ali and all of them that are talking crap and doing crap, that we're not going to give up, but we will rise up against them and demand what is rightfully ours. I see all kinds of people crawling out of the woodwork to defend Bar Jagdeo, to say the Vice News report didn't should give any evidence of him being corrupt. Seriously? Oh, they're doing it. Yeah, I recognize they're doing it. Right? Abdul Karim died in jail because the US said they got recordings of him planning to do damage to their property. Terrorism. The same wicked and dirty stinking Bar Jagdeo had the Monroes in prison for quite a long time on a trumped-up charge of treason. Not because he had evidence, but he had some kind of little stupid recorded conversation. How many of you have gone to the police station and make report that your neighbor cuts you and tell you this or tell you that, and they found themselves in the lockup and perhaps before the courts? What evidence y'all talking about? There was more than enough evidence. If you're not business partner with me, I can walk in your house and come and introduce somebody to do business with you. It don't happen, sir. So at least there's a business linkage between Jagdeo and Sue. And since Sue is saying this is a corrupt link we got, then who am I to doubt Sue? Birds of a feather flock together. But Marty said only your friends know your secret. And only he can reveal it. And Jagdeo accepted Sue as a friend. He said to Mr. Chan, I don't deal with a business. Sue takes care of that. Sue takes care of the business. He is my friend. He always gets my support. So I support Sue to take care of the business. I'm not a liar. But even if y'all want to claim there's no evidence that Jagdeo corrupt, there's evidence that he is aiding and abetting a crime. Because he supports the criminal, he's aiding and abetting a crime. Corrupt practices in the corridors of government. But some of y'all again are saying, because you can get a pittance off of the quote-unquote master's table, y'all calling out the woodwork to defend Jagdeo. Here we are jumping up with, Sue said his hands are very clean. Yeah, his hands are very clean. He never worked a damn day hard in his life. So he got clean hands. But that doesn't mean he's not corrupt. I hear about the big establishment he got in Suriname. We're going to hear about it though. The details going to come, and then y'all going to tell me how corrupt he is or not. Instead of people recognize what this demon what these demons are doing to this country, and rise up against them. They're giving up their dignity and they're giving up their conscience to defend them. Because they see them as a source of a raise here and a raise there and a pittance here and a pittance there. Right? Listen to them, and these are people talking in comfort, quite frankly. Because they feel that they are in friendly territory. Once they put a video show a set of businessmen, Chinese I think in particular, sitting around and saying what would have been of concern is if Guyana wasn't a corrupt country. There's no question about the country being corrupt, very corrupt. And it would have been more concerning if it wasn't as corrupt. In other words, we recognize this place as, according to Donald Trump, as a shithole country it is. Because of the shits like Jack Dio and others who support him. And so we know that we can come and have an easy time provided we are willing to pay the consultation fee. But who wouldn't pay $5,000, $5 million US or 5,000 US, whatever it is, to get into the lucrative oil industry, oil sector, or the mining sector, or in the hotel industry? Who wouldn't? This country is a pay-to-play country. Pay to play. If you can't pay, you can't play. And we are sitting down and accepting that. We're not rising up. We're giving up. Well, them man is in control. And them man ain't going to come out to them for the next 40 years, so you best go and lick their backsides. That's the attitude. Yeah, I use a strong language this morning. I'm damn angry. But I don't think it's distasteful. Right? I go up here and people say you gotta have an attitude of licking ass before you could kick ass. That's the mentality of Guyanese right now. Let me lick ass. Because we don't see the possibility of kicking it. Well, all of the powers are in our hands to kick it. Governments do not exist in a vacuum. People make governments. And people get the governments they deserve. And so since we are willing to rock back and relax and accept, no matter how far up they shove it, then one would say that we get the government we deserve. I'm not satisfied with this government. I wasn't satisfied with the coalition government either. I've never been satisfied with the Guyanese government. But one has been better than the other. One has given us more hope than the other. So there was a starting point that wasn't zero. And you saw a trajectory from the Granger government that suggested that things were going to get better as the oil money started flowing. Now we got a damn situation, oil money flowing and we're nowhere better off. Almost 3 years, a rough estimation since oil money come into this country. And communities still have roads that are impassable. You don't come down sideline there, man. Walk around Buxton. Go to places like Beirut. Communities are still without passable roads. Clogged drains. Communities are still with earthen drains, mud drains. Neighborhood democratic councils are still receiving $4 million. What is that? $4 million, what? 2,000 US or something? Y'all help me. 2 million US. Listen, I know in the math this morning. Oh, about 20,000 US, right? Yeah, about 20,000 US. Right? Neighborhood Democratic Councils responsible for delivering services to thousands of people, hundreds of households, are still receiving grants of about 20,000 US. Assuming my math is correct. I ain't even concerned about the math right now. Y'all could call me dunce. At least better than I got certificates that are certifiable. Right? Can you imagine that? And so they cannot afford to maintain public infrastructure in the neighborhoods that they have responsibility for. And at the click of a finger, the drop of a hat, one corrupt man in the vice president could make $5 million US. What's $5 million US? About $1 billion Ghana? Again, I am not doing the maths logically. I'm just guessing based on multiplying 5 by 2, I'm going to get 10. How many billions of this individual collected? What can a fraction of those billions do for the growth and development of this country and its citizens? If those billions were to be directed, or a fraction of those billions were to be directed into the coffers of the state, would we have been able to give to every household that 5,000 US? You see, here we go again, that 5,000 US dollars that Clive Thomas and the WPA suggested should be given to each household? The technocrats and the big wigs are saying, no, it can't be done. The country can't afford it. It's going to fuel inflation and all kinds of things. But you're not giving it to the households, those that need it the most. It is alleged that the vice president is collecting it ever so often in bribe, pay to play. And people are sitting back and accepting this. Why do people come to this country? To make money. Jaglio said that. So why foreigners come to this country to make money and locals are wallowing in filth and poverty? And we accepting it. Protests has gone past whether the elections were rigged or not. Protests in this country is about human rights and dignity and the right of the citizens to enjoy the patrimony, to enjoy the benefits that ought to accrue to them from their natural resources and other. That is what protest is about for me now. We have to be determined not only to highlight the wrongdoings of government, but to challenge it every step of the way. Instead of analyzing the Vice report and highlighting some of the things that the Vice report highlighted, a whole set of clowns and dunces and trenches and intellectually lazy and corrupt and criminal-minded people are actually attacking the messenger. Isobel Young, she didn't do a good job, she wastes people's time. Isobel Young is not a citizen of this country. She doesn't pay tax in this country. She didn't vote for those politicians in the National Assembly and in government. We did. And if she can point to us that everything is not right, then we are the ones who have to be determined that it is going to be fixed. I read yesterday, I think it was, what's the name of the country? Zaire, I think, I can't remember. But the vice president, the president couldn't dismiss him because he doesn't have the constitutional authority to dismiss him. But the vice president was named in accepting kickbacks. Pay to play again. He was named in an investigation, a probe. He was named as among the people who accepted kickbacks in exchange of contracts, etc. The president relieved him of all duties. You can't relieve him of his vice presidency. But he said, as long as your name is caught up in this, you will not do anything in the name of the state. You're going to sit down right there with nothing to do. That's how a democracy works. That is how government that is concerned about the well-being of the country's resources and its image operate. But we got a fat guy telling you he ain't sending the vice president no way, he ain't dismissing no vice president. There's no evidence. The vice reporter was barely making allegations. And we, the citizens, are sitting back. What I said, we ain't raising no righteous indignation, is that it? We ain't at 800 yet, what y'all doing? Imagine we so lazy, we ain't even sharing the damn life. We give up so badly that we can't click share to 10 or 20 persons to get the viewership up. So how then we going out there and brave the rain and perhaps rubber bullets and the arrogance of the guy in the police force when Brock up Ben lose them upon us? How we doing that? If we ain't even want to share the life. We find Facebook block we. How then we going to block rubber bullets? Sometimes they all think I'm quipping, but I'm very, very serious when I talk about these things. Very serious. What are we? Tin soldiers? Don't we have desires for better? Aren't we willing to struggle for better? The opposition members will be out at Vicinity Road again protesting, calling for Jagdio's resignation or dismissal. I'm taking a bit. Oh Lord. They don't like me when I get like this. I'm taking a bit. Dr. Hayes will tell me that I'm being the devil's advocate and I'm being defeatist and so on. I'm taking a bit. The turnout today is going to be worse than yesterday. Because those who were out there yesterday are going to encourage others to come out with them today. They're going to say, oh God, I've been out there yesterday, I ain't never go back today. You ever going to be the reasoning? Why I been out there yesterday? And the crowd big, me never go back today. So even when others came out, even when others come out today, with the assumption that they're going to go and lend solidarity and join those who were out there yesterday, they will find that many of those who were out there yesterday are not even coming out today. And this is no ordinary issue that the protest is about. This is a protest that is supposed to be calling for the removal of a man who has established a parallel government to the one that was installed. You understand what I'm saying? Causing the business transactions of the nation are going through the halls and bedrooms of Jagdeo, that they can't be analyzed and be pronounced upon by the Public Accounts Committee. So the citizens will be none the wiser about what abuses are taking place in the name of the state. I don't think this thing is about Jagdeo as an individual. This thing is about the state, the nation state of Ghana. This is about the country's resources, the country's patrimony. Your inheritances as citizens. Share the life. Share the life. And so I have that bet out, you prove me wrong. The opposition is going to be out there today again. And I am saying that from my vantage point, because of the attitude of Guyanese, when it comes to struggle in this Iowa, I expect smaller numbers. We don't understand the concept of building one dirty build dam. And so if 10 of us were out there yesterday and we return, having invited another 10, the possibility is we will go to 15. Depends on how you look at it. Assuming 50% accept the invitation. But the possibility is we could go to 30, because if 10 accepts the invitation and they invite 10 also. But no, we believe, our citizens believe, only one group of people must struggle for everybody. We giving up, we are rising up. We can't continue with this attitude and expect that better will come. KAMS. Residents of Golden Grove will continue to protest. We should be joining them. On the 4th of July, you have been given long notice. The police and I get long notice. On the 4th of July, outside of Buxton on the public road, we are going to be protesting. David, I said, don't worry, the peaceful protesting, the peaceful picketing. They are no peaceful in protest. People protest. Whatever the outcome, so be it. We will be protesting on the 4th of July. The PPP like say they paid the busing protesters, and they're paying them and they're giving them lunch. Protesters are human beings. Protesters have needs. Protesters have to pay transportation from point A to point B to get there to the protest. So yes, we will be providing financial support to those who come out. We will try to cover your transportation costs. Yes, we are going to provide refreshments. But I'm sure that is not going to be your motivation for coming out. Your motivation must be the ills of this government. Let us rise up, not give up. They say you could fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all the people. The parliament buildings, you know, why did I even go there? The parliament buildings is falling apart. What is person wants? Hello. Like they send them. Right? The parliament buildings are falling apart. The lawns of the parliament building is in disarray. Filthy as ever. Another dump in the city. And it's not when it rains, the northern corridor of the parliament chambers is now flooded. The fence is falling apart. And millions, hundreds of millions of dollars are being expended to host Parliament at the Archer Convention Center long after Corona has gone. Well, it isn't totally gone. But a situation which necessitated Parliament be held at the Archer Convention Center has changed. And so naturally, the sittings of Parliament should return to the chambers on Brickdam, Starbrook. But no, that is not happening. They continue to host Parliament at Archer Convention Center so their friends and cronies can suck from the nipple of corruption. And the Parliament buildings is left in disrepair. And the clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Isaacs, another one of them that is concerned about renewing his contract when he should be home minding grandchildren. Y'all know I don't care. Me ain't got no chill. Me mouth ain't got cover according to them when they're ready to talk. Instead of standing up and representing the well-being of his staff and the institution which he represents, is allowing Gail Teixeira, the so-called Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, to run things at the Parliament. Because he is concerned that if he speaks up, they wouldn't give him another extension to his contract. What extension you want again? What extension you want? You want me to get crude? You're living on borrowed time. Go home. Make room for somebody young who will stand up and represent the interest of their staff and look after the maintenance of that national symbol. But no, Isaacs is concerned that his contract is soon to expire and he wants it renewed. And so he's allowing Gail Teixeira, old Smokey, to do what she liked. She now running things at the Parliament. And nobody there is rising up. They're giving up. Because people are concerned about contract renewal. Starvation wages they're trying to protect. What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us as a people? We got to be the laughing stock of the Caribbean and elsewhere, man. We like punishment. We ain't a spine. Ghana has to be the most spine, the country with the most spineless people. We quick to accept a wool being pulled over our eyes. See the time. 8 minutes past 8 o'clock hour. We're not 800 yet. Broker Ben said that he banned Skeng and people like Skeng from coming to Ghana to perform. And I was the first on record as saying that it was slackness that took place at the National Park when Skeng performed. I also said creatives, artists have a right to work and earn, but authorities have a right to maintain law and order. And if the authorities in this country failed to put systems in place to ensure law and order was the order of the day at that concert, then Skeng shouldn't be the one paying the price. And so that ban on Skeng is unjust. I maintain that it is unjust. The people who should be sanctioned, though, are the very people who issued that ban. Because the Skeng show, Botheration as it was called, I think, and Stink and Dirty, and this and that, they were all shows that were endorsed and sponsored by the Ministry of Culture and the Batty Lion. Minister Batty Lion, who sits alongside Brock Ben in cabinet or wherever they meet to discuss government business, was the minister behind those shows, endorsed them, provided support for them, co-sponsored them. And so the failings to ensure that proper measures were put in place to ensure law and order must fall at their feet, like I said in the earlies on this issue. The police didn't roll out all of the measures that they ought to roll out because it was a PPP show. I don't care how you all see it. It was a show with the PPP backings. And therefore the police was afraid to touch it the way they would touch other shows. Because they too are subservient. They too giving up instead of rising up. And so the very people that caused the breach of law and order are now punishing somebody else for their feelings. How just. How just. And Guyanese feel, yeah, big up Brock Ben. Do the right thing, ban the skeks. Ban the skeks. The old PPP should be banned from ever being in government again. Because they're a total failure at it. But they get rewarded for failing. They get to thief the nation's money. And the citizens of this nation are happy to talk about $30,000 in student grants. From July, they're going to give $30,000 student grant. But since January, the children at the dorm schools in the interior have been eating shine rice. And shine rice in this instance might be barely rice boiled with salt. That a good old traditional Guyanese shine rice with low coconut milk and maybe 2 sprigs of shallot. Right? And sometimes strips of starfish. No! Salt and rice. That is what the people's children were being fed at dorm schools in the interior since January when. The likes of whoever, whatever his name was early this morning, Samu or whatever, talking about $30,000 school grants. Where were these people when this injustice was being perpetrated against those children in the interior? Where were they? $30,000 in school grants, but there are not enough textbooks in the classrooms for children, even though they're preparing for the National Grade 6 assessment. As a matter of fact, no level has its adequate supply of textbooks and other learning materials. But $30,000 in grants, y'all big enough. Y'all just as dunces prayer. It is now 8 hours 30. The lines are open. I will talk about the other things as we go along. Lines are open. Call and let's stop with it. Y'all thief him, Vice President, and those who come out to support him. Where are the guardians of democracy? We had some big accountants among them. Where are they? They don't know what's corruption in government. I'm not hearing their voices. Where's the accountant general or whatever y'all call him? Where these folks at? GT&T internet is a mess. It can't load a voice note. Let's go to the voice notes. I think there's some. Let me see if I can get them to play. Call Live, good morning. Call Live, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Kadaki. Good morning to the listening public. I am wondering if it was an Indian artist had come to Guyana, right, and perform, and the performance was like that, if he would have been banned from coming to Guyana. That is one. Number two, I'm saying that the time is right for the opposition to get some meetings going. We need to get meetings going out at the Square of the Revolution, right? When I started its protests, we didn't just go and talk about protests and end up at Congress Place. He started with meetings at Congress, at the Square of the Revolution, and we need to start these meetings. I don't know what was it that we are waiting on. Or people need to be mobilized, right? And I'm sure that if our people are mobilized, they would be out in the streets in their numbers. So we need to get these meetings going. That's my take this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. Call every targeting. Voice note.
Yeah, good morning, KAMS and viewers. But is it not only the digging?
Let's pause this voice note. Call A Live. Call A Live. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. I just want to make a few points this morning quickly. My comments this morning, I just want to make a few. First of all, Mr. Larkin needs to mobilize the supporters more, and now is the right time, and not only by office the president. You need to protest all over around town. Shut the place down. Let these people see that people are serious. Not only just going for the president's office, the installed president's office, and just holding up a placard. These people need to go all around the place, go around the country, and shut the place down. Let all the communities come out and see that people are serious. That doesn't hold up a placard one day or 2 days. That's it. People don't care about the stocks. Action needs to be taken. Because you see, the vice president, he's a disgrace to this country. He needs to be in jail. This man is a disgrace to this nation. The world is watching, and people shouldn't expect the world to say anything because God is the one who installed them in there. So they shame now to come out and talk against them. They think they see what's going on. But it's messy for this, the bad message for this in country. And so, right now we're saying he's a people. So, you know damn well this is. This man is so wicked, evil, just selling out our country. But God don't sleep. Just to come out now, more gotta come. And the wickedness will reveal and come out and it will think. Now Fear jumping out and representing him, Fear should shame because the time she takes to jump out and represent her install regime, she should look after the schools and we're looking at the benches and chairs and the children have to be sitting down on the ground and the children have to eat shine rice and all that. That's what she should be looking after. She can't be looking after her own needs and she's looking after other things, right? These people need to be removed from there. And I agree that everybody, not only talk, everybody should come out and protect every single body. Don't sit down and just talking and rock back. We need to take action. It's the only way these people are.
Thank you, caller.
That's how we operate. Thank you. That's my comment.
Voice note.
Yeah, good morning, KAMS and viewers. But is it not only they getting the 30,000 now, July, from
Caller on the line.
Since January or since when again, PP's been giving their supporters hundreds of thousands, and then now they will still benefit from this 30,000. When you alone barely getting now this 30,000 if you got 2 children. So the PP supporters them collecting 250, and if they got 5 children, look at that now too. And Guyanese are upon stubbornness, especially African Guyanese, sitting back and just taking everything. Let it continue to sit back. Let it continue. People use them the right way. And people now watch all them. Guyanese better get up. Indeed, let me see how much person come out. I know I can't be there here, but I still pass on the message. I go out no matter what.
Caller live, good morning.
That's my contribution.
Good morning, Mr. Gadaki. Good morning, everyone in the diaspora. First, I'd like to say that what I've been seeing in the protests yesterday in regards to solidarity, that's a beautiful start. It's a beautiful picture I saw yesterday. That outpouring of solidarity, that awakening of the people. So the coalition and Buxtonian showing Dr. Hines and those who talk the talk are walking the walk, and we are glad to see that awakening of the people. I got 2 points I want to touch on real quick. I am glad that more facts are coming out behind this skank show, and the hidden hand is beginning to be revealed, that more blame needs to be rest squarely on the side of security, as you indicated this morning, right? And as videos have revealed about police officers shooting their guns in the crowds. Now, we must agree, particularly Robeson Ben and the police forces, they know exactly what Skang sings. They signed a contract saying, Skang, you come and sing these songs. So he's fulfilling his contract. Comes on the stage, sing the songs as contracted to do, and then they want to ban him. And while the PPP are busy trying to ban Skang for fulfilling his contractual agreement, as they know, and he fulfilled it, they must remember that part of CSME integration has to do with culture. A large proponent of CSME integration has to do with cultural artists having free movement, together with doctors, nurses, but culture is an important element of free movement and CSME. So we have to understand the bigger picture. That's for the PPP and UTAD. Need to understand that Robeson Ben doesn't understand that by banning Skang, it sends a different message to the CSME community. Okay, now let's put that aside. Now, on the issue of criminality and constitutional violations, which amount to criminality. Criminality on the level of conspiracy to facilitate sedition. Just as Donald Trump and his cohorts are under investigation. A commission of inquiry has been placed on them by the United States Congress to see how it is that Donald Trump facilitated a conspiracy for sedition. When we look look at the irregularities and the violations, which were facilitated by Donald Trump and Pompeo and them, we see that Bharat Jagdeo fits the exact descriptions of criminal acts and conspiratorial plots. Jagdeo stood up and said to thousands of people in Guyana, chase the elected president, David Arthur Granger, and chase Nagamutu, the vice president, every time they come in your village. That is inciting criminality. It is the same thing that Donald Trump says, follow me to the rotunda and take back your government, because they are stealing it. Jagdeo says they are illegal. Trump says they are stealing the election. Jagdeo said they are illegal. In principle, Jagdeo and Trump have been facilitating the same thing. When Jagdeo says chase them, he chased into Ashwin's building and attacked GCOM officials. That's the same thing as President Trump sending those people to Washington, D.C. to attack the United States Congress, because they were counting the votes to decide the presidency of the United States. And in Ashwin's building, their GCOM officials were also counting the votes. The charges that Jagdeo was facilitating a conspiracy to have a coup, to have an overthrow. If you don't believe me, then ask yourself, what was the motive behind the no confidence vote? The no confidence vote is a manifestation of the PPP's desire to remove David Arthur Granger by hook or by crook. So we already know the intent. Parliament's no confidence vote was through legal means. But when they got so frustrated in the conspiracy plot, they decided to chase police officers, beat police officers. Jagdeo's supporters internalized Jagdeo's instructions. When he said chase them, they internalized that they must chase police, they must chase government officials. So they beat the police, chopped the police, attacked government school buses and beat school children. Okay, Jagdeo's instructions to the nation was to chase them, as Trump said. So we want to say that Jagdeo definitely must face criminal charges for inciting riots, inciting and facilitating sedition to conspiracy. And we must not hesitate. I noticed yesterday. It is now 7 hours 21. Welcome to another program of Buxtonian Morning Time on the 24th day of June in the year 2022. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. It is Free Talk Friday. Y'all share the live. We are not 400 yet. Friday. Like y'all in the party mood already. Y'all done sign off. We ain't in the 400. We ain't in 400 yet. And this morning, unless I see 1,000 people, I ain't feel I want to talk.
maybe y'all gonna get to talk. So y'all share the live. Share the live. That's all I'm asking you to do. Share the live. Come. Nobody want to plant the corn, but they really want to raid the barn. A lot of us here don't want to do anything. We just want to raid the barn. You know, you got some children, you can't get them to do work. Or they coming in time for eat. Yes, I know a lot of them like that. Don't be among those. Do not be among them. Share the live. Share the live.
Let the power fall on high.
Alright.
Let the power fall on high. Oh, let the power from Zion fall on high. Let the power fall on high. Oh, give I justice, peace and love. Alright. Give I justice, peace and love.
Share the live.
Tell I how long will the wicked reign for right? Give I justice, peace and love. So let the power fall on high for right. Let the power fall on high. Oh, let the power from Zion fall on high. Let the power
Fall on high. Share the live.
So let the power fall on high, for right. Let the power fall on high. Oh, let the power from Zion fall on high. Let the power fall on high. Oh, let the wicked burn in flames, for right. Let the wicked burn in flames. Oh, let the wicked burn to ash, for right. Let the wicked burn in flames. And let the power fall on high, for right. Let the power fall on high. Oh, let the power from Zion.
Share the live. You gotta get up to that 1,000 mark. It's Friday, it's Free Talk Friday. Come on, we're struggling to make 500. What's wrong this morning? You ask people where. Let's ring the bell. Come on. Share the live.
Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rabbits so we don't.
Share the live.
Ring the bell down there. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Hey. Come on, brother leader. It's high time that you summon up the power. This time, bust it in the air bell. Well, look, I have a story to tell. Well, it's a long time now we fighting for freedom. Victory bound.
Share the live.
I
We're struggling, man. We're struggling. Y'all sleeping in a moving train.
Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there.
Annette Gordon, share the light. Sharon Grant, Damon Gordon.
Ring it all over.
June Cameron.
Ring it all over.
Rose Chappelle.
All over.
Evelyn Obama. Gloria Van Houten. Hey, Coffee, share the light, brother. What's your problem? Dennis Sobers and Debbie Reynolds. Winston Kilkenny. Come on, y'all, share the light.
This word, let the voice of the dumb press be heard.
Tasha Salad.
Let the people's story be told. Well, it's a long, long time now we come out.
Emily Gerard, we are waiting for us to share the light. Don't stop sharing. Never get weary. Share it.
Ring the bell, ring the bell.
Vibrant White, click, click, click.
Down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell.
And Marie Selby.
Bell down there. Ring the bell for justice.
Come on, I know you can do it.
Ring
We're struggling, Roxanne Ward. We're struggling.
the bell down there.
Share the light, man. Share the light.
Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody.
Claudia James.
The bell down there.
Robert London. Who y'all think you there? Nadira Secret. You think your Agriculture Center is just a show? You have to participate. You have to share this live. You got to get the message out there. Ginseng Henry. Come on, come on. We got to get there. We got to get there. We're not at 500 yet.
Bring it in the House of Parliament. Bring it in the seat of government. And let it hear. Let it hear. Bring it in the House of Congress. Bring it in the Buckingham Palace. In the Kremlin and Washington. Bring it in the Vatican too, Lord. Oh, oh. I ring the bell, ring the bell.
Ring the bell all over.
Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice.
Candy.
Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for
Nelini and the Jeep.
ring the bell down there.
Share the light, share the light.
Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody. Ring the bell down there. Ring it all over.
Come on, we can get to 500 before the song finishes. Come on, let's do it.
Ring it all over. Hey.
You got a couple seconds. Yes, Free Talk Friday. Some of y'all going on like y'all on left and y'all got a belly. Say only 2 times you share this thing, you gotta share this thing 10 times. Debbie Pitt and Sonia Sargent, y'all share, you gotta share at least 10 times, man. What's wrong with you? We got some lazy people on this show, they only want to click 1 time. Come on, you gotta do better than that. You gotta share 10 times. Each of you share 10 times. They say each one teach one, each one reach one. And so if you reach 10 persons and then they reach 10 persons, the possibility is we're going to get to that number. We are less than 500 this morning. It's Friday, you know. Friday is supposed to be quite happy and nonchalant. Friday is supposed to feel free. Oh Lord, thank God it's Friday. I'm going to shake the oppressor off my back today, at least to the weekend. Monday I might go back and deal with them. Right? Morning. Welcome to another program. I'm Buxtonian Morning Time. Y'all tell me something. Y'all tell me something. You know, one of the places I don't like to share, and I'm being honest, in those groups where you have to wait for the administrator to approve the share, Because night gonna come, the next day gonna come and they ain't approve it yet. The show gonna done 3 weeks and they ain't approve it yet. Right? As much as you can share the individuals do that, so they respond in a timely manner. A lot of people don't like go looking for replays, you know, rebroadcast, and they don't like to go and look for the show despite the fact that it's there. They prefer to see it live. And so if they want to comment, they want to participate in the live chat, they do just that. Yes, it's the 24th, a few days away from the month end, right? In fact, 6 days to be exact from the month end. It means we got about 6 and 4, 10 days to July 4th. What plans have you had? What plans are you making? I want you to tell me that this morning. Whether you want to call in and tell me or you want to live chat and tell me. What plans are you making for the 4th? Nelini, you up at Skelland there, girl. You're bringing down a busload of people. According to the good book, they say when the Creator wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, one of the disciples said, man, you mean for tell me you can't find one righteous among them? I'm asking the question. I'm asking the question. You mean to tell me you can't find a busload of people who are disappointed with the PPP and the corrupt vice president and the discrimination and so on from Skelland Nelini? I know you can. Bring a busload to Buxton on the 4th. Let us prove to this nation that just like it was in the 80s, Guyanese are capable of struggling across ethnic lines. Yes, that's my desire. Guyanese are capable of recognizing what is for the common good and pooling their resources together to challenge those who are a threat to the common good. And so on the 4th, Monday the 4th, it's CARICOM Day, it's a national holiday. And all eyes will be around the region to see which country is doing what. And that is why I believe it's a good day for us to highlight to the world, because they will be looking in that all is not well in Guyana. Right? And I don't want to give the Jagabats the opportunity to say, y'all ain't see is them black people alone against this government. Y'all ain't see is them black people alone protesting. No. Because the ills that are being perpetrated against the citizens of this country are ills that are affecting both, well, not in both, all 6 races, all 6 races, ethnic groups in this country. And so, Sokraj, from Essequibo, I'm asking you also to bring a boatload, a busload. Bring your folks from Essequibo and show some solidarity with the folks. Region 2 shows solidarity with Region 4. Region 3 shows solidarity with Region 4. Region 5 and 6 shows solidarity with Region 4. Come on, I know y'all could do it. Right? I know y'all could do it. And so I'm asking, this morning I'm pleading, I'm saying make good trouble. Make good trouble. Whichever neck of the woods you're in. Right? Keep sharing the live. We should want to get to the 1,000, 1,500 mark this morning. I'm very serious. Whichever neck of the woods you're in, you should be making arrangements to come to Buxton on the 4th and protest. Because we are going to protest against nepotism, cronyism, discrimination, corruption in government, judicial killings, bad roads and infrastructure in our communities, and whatever else is affecting people across this country. We must highlight it to the world on the 4th, from the forefront of Buxton. And I know we can do it. And I'm putting my head on a block that we will do it. Right? That's what I'm saying. Albert Morgan from number 53 village. You're bringing down a bus load over. Y'all think it's joke I'm making. I'm asking for answers. I want to start getting answers now. I want people to give me commitments. We will need marshals. We need folks to keep their eyes out and ensure protesters are protected and no breach occurs. And so we will need people to be monitors, marshals, to look on and see what is happening and to identify weaknesses and intervene so that all of us can be happier at the end of the day. If you would like to be a marshal on the 4th of July, hit me up. You could put it in the live chat. My Ricardo Singh, my y'all is just fret me sometime. Y'all is just fret me. Ricardo is saying that if none were to make an official public apology to East Indians who were persecuted and forced to leave Ghana on the bottom, he thinks that more Indians would join the new PNC party. I'm not asking people to join the new PNC party. First and foremost, let me point out, I'm WP. I ain't asking y'all to join no party. I'm asking y'all right now to let us protest the wickedness of this government. I don't care which party you come from. Are we saying that they're not people in the PPP or people who are supportive of the PPP that recognize the wrongs that the PPP is doing right now? That they can come to the protest line and add their voices to those who are calling for fairness and good governance and everything? And if we go this way of asking for public apology and so on, I mean, the PNC got to know if the PNC wants to apologize for anything. Nothing has to know as leader of the PNC if it is the policy of the PNC to apologize to anybody or anything. Right? Up to now, we can't get the Queen and the monarchy to really apologize to black people for all the wrongs that they did to them during the periods of enslavement. Up to now. Apology from, what should I say, the quote-unquote political elites is a rarity in the world. Right? Black people have suffered across the globe due to the slave trade and all of that. And look around and see if you get any apology or any meaningful apology. Up to now, black people fighting for reparations. And the question is it only under the PNC government, Bonham PNC, that people were persecuted and forced to leave this country? I believe, quite frankly, more black people were persecuted under Forbes Bonham and were forced to leave this country. I don't know, y'all. Do your research and let history show what is accurate. Right? And under the PPP, tons and tons of black people were persecuted and forced to leave this country. As a matter of fact, while I know it would have happened, I think Hinkson ran out of this country because of some spat he had with Forbes Bonham. And I think they said he lived in Guyana or Suriname for quite a while before he came back home and eventually died and so on. I don't know if he actually sought political asylum outside of this country, as in going through the formal channels to seek political asylum and was granted. But I know that there are several persons who were granted political asylum under the PPP government. Black people. So both sides, like Dr. Hines likes to say, Yusuf Kwana wrote the book No Guilty Race. Both governments, all governments in this country, have been guilty of persecuting people. . I can sit here and say I'm being persecuted. A whole host of people who served in the last David Granger administration, who worked under the last David Granger administration and so on, can claim that they're being persecuted. But what? You walk around begging for an apology? Or you recognize what is good for your country and you work with that? I'm just asking. And you're entitled to your opinion, Ricardo. Right? There got some people, regardless of what you do, you could give them an arm and a leg as an apology. They'd never forgive you. Right? And Marlon Thomas is saying Bonham died 40 years ago. Is Norton responsible for Bonham's sins? Why if we really want an apology, why you don't get Bonham to wake up and apologize, and Chetty to wake up and apologize, and the Governor General to wake up and apologize and so on? Let's move the conversation forward. And I am saying that in 2022, just like we did in the 80s against Forbes Bonham and the PNC, Guyanese can come together regardless of race, color, and creed and challenge the status quo. Challenge a group of people who are guilty of selling off our country for their personal benefits. Challenge a group of people who are discriminatory in the allocation of the resources of this country based on the color of people's skin and their ethnicity and their creed and their color and so on. I'm saying we're capable of it. And so Ricardo Singh, assuming that that's your name, Ricardo Singh, assuming that you're really a Singh, or you might be a Pasad or an Indigit, or a Khan, I'm saying to you, Ricardo Singh, step forward. Lead from the front. Where you from? Calcutta? Bad settlement? Bring a busload of people and join us in Buxton. Let us show this government, this thieving, corrupt cabal, that Guyanese are uniting against them, regardless of race, color, or creed. And I'm saying that we're capable of doing it. Let's make good trouble on the 4th of July. Except for client confidentiality, I have seen it happening. It can happen. And I'm encouraging us, let us happen, let us make it happen. You got to report that, you can't say this, at least I won't say. Right? I won't say that the vice report is Opeli Young. Some people might call her racist, but I don't think she had a racial or racist agenda when she went undercover to find out how Jagdeo sells out this country through soup. And so one can argue that you have an independent report on the performance of Jagdeo and the PPP in office. And if an independent arbiter can provide the evidence to say, well, these people are so corrupt that they ain't got nothing like fair play in their book, and y'all will never get a fair chance to participate in the economic benefits of the oil, etc. Can't we see that for what it is? And use that as a motivating factor to remove them from government? And I say them, because while people have been calling for Jagdeo to be removed as vice president, I want to say this to you. Removing Jagdeo as vice president won't solve the problem. Because Jagdeo will still have access to government. And the same access that he has as vice president, he will have without the title of vice president. He will have as general secretary of the PPP. He will have as a friend and shape and fashion of Irfan Ali. So if removing Jack Dio as vice president is what will bring peace in this country in the minds of some people, I am saying that you've set the bar low. Because had I been Irfan Ali, I'd have just removed Jack Dio. And so while he would not have been cloaked with government power, as many of us see it, he would still have access to government power or the corridors of power in government. And that makes it even more difficult to clip his wing. Because now the argument is he's not acting as an agent of the state, he's acting on his own. So my thing is, removing Jack Dio is not going to solve the problem. You have to remove the entire government. It's like cancer, they say. You find a tumor somewhere, you remove it, and next thing you know, the thing's spreading all over your body. The PPP is that corrupt. They're cancerous to the society. But removing them, let's admit, is an uphill task. I'm positive it's an uphill task. Because a house divided cannot stand. And so as long as the people are divided, we cannot be effective in our efforts to remove them. At least even if we're effective, we will not be efficient. It will take us a longer time. They say the sum of the parts is equal to more than one. It means that when more people pull together, you get more effort than if the individual parts are pulling individually. And so when you got the PNC group protesting and trying to get Jack Dio removed, and you got the AFC group calling for participation in determining the terms of reference to the COI, and you got the WPA saying get rid of the PPP because they are all damn corrupt. Everybody has a clarion call. Everybody is calling for what is good for the society. But let us put all of those calls together. And so you have a louder voice. And I'm saying on the 4th of July, we have the opportunity to bring all those voices together. And so when we say communities must get better roads, we're talking about communities across the country must get better roads. And when we say the style of market that is good for Mount Repose is good for every community, we mean that every community that has market space or the need for a market structure should be given a market structure of the quality that is being established at Mount Repose. But Ricardo is coming with his defeatist argument. Apologize and then you're going to get people. I don't know about that. This is how this country works. And it's a setup. Let me call it for what I see it as. Let's just assume in the wildest imagination that I have that none comes out tomorrow and say, hey, the PNC has been guilty of committing certain atrocities or named atrocities against Indo-Guyanese and caused them to flee this country, and I apologize, I'm being the bigger person here. Next morning's headline is, Norton admits that PNC persecuted Indo-Guyanese. Guyana Times will say, we've been saying this all the time. You see, they admit. And because of that admission, we must never support them again. All Indo-Guyanese must withdraw their support from the PNC because, you see, they admit that they persecuted Indo-Guyanese. Yeah, that's the reality. They want to set you up. You hear it from the horse's mouth. And so use it against the horse now. Come on, Ricardo. We could do better than that. I'm saying that in the 80s, and I know what I'm talking about. I was a youngster, but I know what I'm talking about. Up until now, I have friends in Annandale, Rohit Kanai. Rohit. I always talk about my relationship with Brother Moses Bagwan. Right? There are lots of Indian brothers that I rub shoulders with. Campaigning on the WPA platform for better governance in the BNC. Lots of them across this country. And they used to come to Buxton and eat kanki, and we used to go to Annandale and play cricket and all of that. Right? So I know about that multiracial, multi-ethnic struggle across racial lines for good governance on the PNC. But now the boots are on a different pair of feet. This struggle is against the PPP. And the PPP is guilty of worse infringements than the PNC, quite frankly. Any way you look at it from. I don't know about y'all. Right? Any way you look at it. The PPP has been a worse government than the PNC ever was. And here it is, we have this cabal, this group of wicked and sick-minded people who are doing the worst to Guyanese. And we can't forget our ethnic differences. We can't put aside our petty differences, because that is what a lot of it is. And stand up for this country. Come on. We can. And I'm saying let us get it done on the 4th of July. And I'm publicly challenging people like Rohit, Robin Singh, Nalini Indrajit, Candy, Sukraj from Essequibo, Albert Morgan from number 53, or where, I think 53. I am challenging you all. Londoners, I'm challenging you all. Gather your people and come to Buxton. I know resources are scarce and sometimes hard to come by. And I'm saying that if you reach out and say, hey, Mr. Amsterdam, I have a busload or two of people who want to come and support, show solidarity, and let us chant down Babylon. But things tight at this end. We are gathering resources to assist you to get here. And those of you who are on the live right now, you are overseas or you're local, and you can assist. In contributing in some way, shape, or form to getting people here and ensuring that they get refreshments and so on. Hit me up on WhatsApp. You got the number there, 6225933. Those of you who already know the Cash App number, Cash App handle, go over to Cash App. Make your contribution and say, well, this is for the protest. That's all you need to say, for protest. Because while there are those here who we are asking to put their shoulders to the wheel, be physically present on the protest line, I know there are many of you who would like to see the protest succeed, but you can't be here. But I'm sure you can support. You can give moral support. Coffee is saying moving Jaguar is part of what is to be done. First step. Yeah, moving Jaguar is a desired outcome. But the most effective outcome would be moving the PPP. Because like I said, right? Like I said, moving Jagdeo is a band-aid. Unless you move Jagdeo and put him in jail, you still are giving Jagdeo freedom to corrupt government business. I like to refer to movies. How many mafia movies do you see where the Don is incarcerated, but he still runs the show from behind bars? Huh? Let's talk about that. So I'm saying and I'm maintaining, if you move Jagdeo as vice president, he remains general secretary of the PPP. And as far as David Hines explained, right now you're seeing paramountcy of the leader. Not paramountcy of the party, paramountcy of the leader. And so Jagdeo remains paramount. He's not vice president, but he has access to every single one of them who are in the seat of power. And just as how he is facilitating corruption through Sue as vice president, he can continue to facilitate corruption through Sue or whoever's replaced Sue as general secretary. Because he will conduct his own business arrangements like he did with the vice reporters in his home. And then he will take them to be endorsed by the various ministers of government, who many of them feel indebted to him. Definitely Ali feels indebted to him for making him president. So the issue is not just about removing Jagdeo. The issue is about holding the entire government accountable. And how best you can hold them accountable. Kick them to the curb, because they're no good for this country. Candy is giving us a commitment. It's right there on YouTube and Facebook. I will. She will get a group from Skeldon to come to Buxton and protest with us. You see, let me explain what that protest will do for you. And that is why I would like to see a representative from every community. Because there and then you will get to speak to the world and say, I am from Annandale. And in my community, these are the problems. I am from East Barbies. And in my community, these are the problems. Out of 19 NDCs in my area, 17 received $4 million in grant from the government, from the PPP. And the two that did not receive any grants, did not receive any because they are headed by black people. You'll be able to highlight that. You'll be able to speak to the world firsthand, as against me speaking to the world for you, or David Hines speaking to the world for you. And so we are creating a stage on the 4th of July so the world can have firsthand from people who live in these communities as to what is happening in these communities. Continue to share the live, please. We're not 700 yet. I say we are in for 1,500. What's wrong, man? Right? Let's not be lazy. Let's make good trouble. Good trouble this morning is sharing the live and committing. Right? And so we have the commitment from Candy. Thank you for that commitment. And you know me, I hold in your feet to the fire. I hold into it, right? If you have to assist in getting your people here, let me know. I know Socrates is quietly looking on. She isn't answering us. Albert Morgan, I'm waiting for your commitment. Colin Barnwell, what are you committing to this struggle? What can we expect from you on the 4th of July? Sending a busload. Which part of the country you from? Are we getting a busload from you, Colin Barnwell? Or are we getting some financial support to ensure that the people are refreshed and their traveling is taken care of? Let's be real. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring it in every nook and cranny. I'm still waiting to hear people comment and say, well, I will be a marshal on that day. We need placards. We have to get hundreds of placards. Hundreds of placards. That means that we have to get cardboards, markers. How many of you are going to buy cardboards and markers and write placards? Or how many of you are volunteering to write placards if cardboards and markers are provided? Yes, that's how the movement works. Don't leave the job on one or two people. So we're talking. I need those commitments. So by now and let's say the 28th, we must know where we are formally. Well, here, we're likely to have 10,000 persons in front of Buxton highlighting the issues in their communities. The numbers have been stuck at just around 600. Keep sharing the live. If you share 10 times, share another 10 times. Never get weary making good trouble. Otherwise, I would not have been here almost 2 years. The time passed like I didn't recognize it because I enjoy making good trouble. And there are testimonies that will encourage you to make good trouble. A lot of people can sleep lighter at nights because good trouble was made. Colin Barnwell says he's going to contribute financially. Avril Edwards, she's asking what about the people on the East Bank of Demerara? I don't hear the parliamentarians going to the East Bank to meet the people. And they are not only mucker. Someone should be representing the East Bank. Avril, you have an interest in the East Bank. Note this, I can't call every area. But in short, I'm saying that every community across this country, it's important that every community, every region, every street, every village have somebody on the protest line on the 4th of July. And so, Avril, if you have contacts on the East Bank, work those contacts. Give us a commitment. Are you going to bring four bus loads from the East Bank? Do we have to assist you with costs for transportation? Talk to us, Avril. We need to know. That's what I'm saying. You notice I am not doing this thing cloak and dagger. I have no fear. Or should I say I have no shame in letting the world know that there's a cost to protest. People have to be fed. People have to be transported. And I'm not going to sit here and give people the impression, well, we ain't transporting people from point A to Buxton to protest. Buxton is not the country. And if we are hosting a protest to highlight the ills that are currently in the country, it means that people got to come from all over. People have to come from all over. And so there's a cost to their travel. They have to be refreshed. Especially they have to stay, what is the word? They got to drink enough water. Right? They have to stay hydrated. Trisha Joan, I don't know what you're typing there, but I hope it is English. Trisha John, what are you saying to us? I see Colin Barwell said, if one. If one what? Talk to me. Oh, even if one bus is going to come from the East Bank, yes. Even if it's one person that will come from the East Bank. Let us network and get them here in Buxton on the 4th of July. Let's make good trouble. I want your commitments. I've given my commitment for the last 2 years almost. every morning I'm here. Rain, sun, or sleet, I am here every morning highlighting the issues, dealing with issues, taking your calls all day to deal with issues of fear and so on. I'm asking you this morning for your commitment. There were some suggestions early in the year that I should form a political party and contest elections alone. Y'all prove to me that you got my back. Because if this protest fails, Mr. Amsterdam is a failure. Next morning, I'll see it in Culture News from a certain misfit saying the Amsterdam one called for protest and only he and two destitute stand up by the roadside. Right? You don't want that. You and Harry will donate for the struggle. Thank you, Desiree Emmanuel. Hydrated, yes, hydrated. Right? Let's do it. We can do it. And we must do it. Don't let the world get the impression that is a couple of them PNC people calling for Jaglio to be removed as vice president or the government to be removed because of corrupt behavior. Let people see firsthand that the people behind these calls are real people. Colin Barnwell, I want to tell you something. There's a song I listen. Oh, I think I played it on last week's Oli's program. You come for drink milk or come cow? It is funny, and I'll tell you why it is funny. I'm telling you why I'm talking to Colin here. Colin says 100,000 persons in the diaspora contributing US $20 gives you 2 million or US 200 million Ghana dollars. I like the maths. It is factual. But as much as it is factual, Colin, out of that 100,000 persons in the diaspora, when they see that calculation, they're going to say, who? They don't need $200 million to no struggle. They could do it with $50 million, and so I won't give. And if you got a whole set of people thinking, look, there are enough people to give to make it what they really need, as they say, if somebody will do it, nobody will do it. And so while these calculations might be seen as helpful, they are also dangerous. And I'm going to bring it closer to home. There's 602 persons on this live right now. They're struggling to get to 800. Because a whole set of them sitting here and saying, other people going to share, I don't need to share. But everybody needs to share. And that is how we will get the numbers up. There are people sitting here saying, I shared 2 times already, and so I don't need to share another 2 times. And so there are a lot of people who believe that doing the bare minimum is doing enough, just enough to say, well, I did. Margaret Padmore said, don't speculate, I don't know what people will think. Well, I've dealt long enough with people to understand the psychology of people. I don't say I get it right all the time. But like I said, I'm bringing it closer to home. On average, when we do this program on a daily basis, let's say we have 600 viewers. On average. So let's say consistently KAMS TV Buxtonian Morning Time has a viewership of 500. Or let's say 400. Consistently KAMS TV Buxtonian Morning Time has a viewership of 400. I always mention that we would like your financial support to keep things going. What are some of the things that we need to keep going? We have a studio that needs maintaining. We have people that we give assistance to. I always say I was taught not to be poor in public. And so when I give assistance to people, don't expect me to show you a photograph of nobody collecting anything from me. But I can tell you, you know for a fact, every week, like today, Friday, I do meals for the children of a particular school in Buxton. I can tell you, at least once a week, I would have to give assistance to somebody in some community across Guyana by way of a hamper, by way of some money, stuff like that. Right? So when I sit here and I say, we need your assistance, financial and otherwise, to keep things going. It is not just don't tell yourself it's just to host Buxtonian Morning Time or Politics 101. Don't even think about paying electricity and internet and so on. For the greater part, I say if Buxtonian Morning Time wasn't on, I still have to pay electricity and internet. Right? But I'm showing you that. So you have an average of 400 viewers daily. But if I were to say to you that consistently we don't have more than 15 persons contributing to the upkeep of KAMS TV, Buxtonian Morning Time, Politics 101, you might be surprised. And I rationalize it. I say, it is so because everybody tells themselves that somebody else will give. And if somebody else is giving, I don't have to give. Y'all know me, I plain spoken. I don't, what I say, mince words. I say it as I see it. I call it as I see it. And it's an attitude that we have to come out of. Right? We have to get out of that attitude. I dream of hosting a big or several big meetings at the Square of the Revolution. I personally am saying, as host of Buxtonian Morning Time, the time has come for us to go out there and host public meetings. Right? Host public meetings. It's a public fight. It's a fight for the country. We have to put our shoulders to the wheel. We have to get past the boundaries of race and color and creed and who is overseas and who is local and who and so on. We have to do it. We can do it. I'm saying the 4th of July, we must do it. Let that be our starting point. Don't tell yourself that what we do don't have an impact. What we do on KAMS TV, Buxtonian Morning Time, Politics 101, talking corruption, incompetence, and whatever else Paul Stowe does, those programs, we all have an impact on the behavior of this government. Why do you think they try ever so often to shut us down? Why do you think? Because we're getting the message out there. But in their counter-arguments, they say to the international representatives and so on, those are just a few, 6225933 is the MMG number. Who asked that question? Shane. Yes, 6225933 is the MMG number. Yes, they say to the international representatives, those talk show hosts, those social media influencers are just a few remnants of the AP and UFC coalition in government, and they're bitter because they were thrown out of office and so on. And some people are gullible enough to accept it. But when you put your numbers on the road on the 4th of July, then those representatives will take note and say, no, 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 no. The evidence speaks differently. The evidence speaks differently, and that is what I'm asking for. Let us put those numbers out there. Very well, Candy. Thank you. That is how it must be. Share until you... The Christians say give until it hurts. Share until you can't find any place else to share. We could do this. Right? Even if you're at work and you don't have the time to do it now, when you get home, get a link and share it. Somebody will see it pop up into the inbox and they might spend some time because they might have some free time in the evening and they will look at it. Thank you, Colin. Don't allow past failures to dissuade you. I'm not the type that is easily dissuaded. You want evidence? They locked me up in Brickdam. Last year they locked me up in Brickdam, y'all remember? The next day I was out there protesting again, and the next day I was there protesting. I stopped protesting because nobody was alongside me, or very few persons were alongside me. I don't want to be no martyr. I want to be able to help to lead the people to the promised land. I want to live to see Ghana become a better place. And so I ain't going to go out and prove no point alone. You got to get people to watch your back. When you focus in on chanting down Babylon, people must be able to be looking to the east and the west and the north to see from whence the enemy is coming. And if you can't get enough people to watch to the east and the west and the south and so on to keep you guided, then you're only exposing yourself to blows. And that's the only reason I'm not out there protesting every damn day. Because like I keep saying, every day there's a reason for protesting in this country. Right? And this thing that I'm telling you about, but Jack and them telling international representatives, those social media influencers are just a few of them, bitter and so on, and that's not the current in the country. Y'all listened to Jack Doe yesterday, or at least I saw a news article where Jack Doe is saying that the international community knows what Vice News is about, and they will not give Isobel Young's report on his corrupt practices any credibility. Y'all notice that? That's what they do. They attack the messenger. And so try to keep the issue in a bubble so that the bigger picture is not seen. And that is why I always say to folks out there, don't fight the PPP quietly. Don't deal with the PPP quietly over no desk. You got to load it up. Anytime you agree to deal with them in silence, they're going to mash you up because that is their stuff. They like silence. I've seen things where they say, I read ever so often, do not argue with a fool because he's going to bring you down to his level and win you at what he's accustomed to or something like that. Same thing. Don't deal with the PPP in silence. They're going to win you. They got a well-oiled machinery for that. Good. It is now 8 hours 20. Let me tell you what's happening over the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union. I don't give up, you know. Like I said, I'm not easily dissuaded. I always keep my eyes on the prize. And so I can bring you these updates. Last week I told you, or early in the week I told you that a matter was filed in the courts against the Public Service Co-op Credit Union, or naming the Public Service Co-op Credit Union Management Committee as one of the respondents. That matter has asked the court to address things like the notice of meeting published by vice chairman acting as chairman mentor, following the members' petition, signature petition, hundreds of signatures calling for this special general meeting, among other things. The matter was filed in the courts. It came up in the courts, I think yesterday or day before, for hearing, and had to be put down to a later date because some of the members of the management committee said they were not summoned, they were not served with the notice of summons. My information tells me that they were being dishonest because there's a particular member of the management committee who refused to accept the summons, verbally abused the office of the court who went to deliver the summons, and instructed that no summons must be accepted on their behalf. In other words, they refused to take the summons. And then they went to court and said they were not served. You know, sometimes we say the law is an ass. But I wonder how long you're going to write the law for. Right? Diane, kindly drop me a WhatsApp so I get your number so I can inbox you. WhatsApp on 6225933. Anybody who wants me to send them any information private, kindly send me a WhatsApp, 6225933, and so I can respond in kind. Right? So they are deliberately dodging the receipt of the summons and then going to court with their dishonest selves and say, we weren't served. And while they are dodging the summons and as a delaying tactic for the court case, they are doing further damage at the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union. Because my understanding is that the Co-op Credit Union has on retainer a senior counsel. On retainer. When you have somebody on retainer, they pay it every month for just being associated with the entity. And should anything arise, the entity can call on them to perform services. So there's a senior counsel who is on retainer for the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union. There's also a law firm that represents the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union. But instead of utilizing the services of the senior counsel and the law firm which represent the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union, members of the management committee went outside of that arrangement and hired junior lawyers to represent them in this matter. So there are now junior lawyers who are going to be representing the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union's management committee in this case. Those junior lawyers are going to be paid for from the coffers of the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union. And you know what is frustrating? The management committee has refused to disclose how much money they will be paying these lawyers. So you're managing my money. You're about to spend my money. But you're refusing to say to me how much money you're going to spend. And so here again, this is another reason why members of the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union should be in front of the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union, blocking this current management committee from even entering into the compound of the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union, much less performing functions on their behalf. But I guess every Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union member is sitting back and saying, it's not for we, somebody gonna do it. And when somebody gonna do it, nobody gonna do it. And it wouldn't get done. So this delaying tactic is going to continue. And somebody's friends, somebody junior lawyer's friends will continue to get paid from the coffers of the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union, while retainers are being paid for senior counsel and the law firm, and they're not being used. And the management committee continues to make a mockery of the old system. Because while the CCDO says those who elect can also reject, she did not uphold that in a ruling when they had the meeting with her. And this management committee, which is there by coup, quite frankly, the chairman at least is there by coup, is disregarding the right of the members to reject despite the fact that they can elect. It's now 8 hours 27, the lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. Free Talk Friday. Cash App, $BUXT. That's the handle for Cash App. Those who are asking, the handle for Cash App is $BUXT. I'm putting it up on the screen shortly, well, almost like right now. Cash App, $BUXT. When you send your contribution there, your receipt should come back showing dividends. Just indicate for protest. It's on the screen there, Cash App, $BUXT. That's the handle. Those of you who are here locally and would like to contribute, you can do it via MMG. 6225933 is the MMG number. You make a deposit to 6225933. MMG. And they allow you to put notes also, so you say for protest. Or whatever other purpose you determine you want your contribution to be used for. Lines are open. 6225933 is the number. Nobody wants to call. Nobody wants to plant the corn. But I want to raid the barn. We are going to blame it on when it's the next man you are the pen pan. Boy, you're wrong. We all have to carry this cross. That is the PPP. Oh, yeah. Yes, we all have to. Ian is saying he has a Western Union account. Ian, send me a WhatsApp. I'll send you the information to whom you can send for Western Union. Please and thanks. And those of you who need the information for sending Western Union, feel free to ask me via WhatsApp. I'll send you that information, who you can send to through WhatsApp, through Western Union or MoneyGram. Call A Live, good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Kodaki. Good morning, everyone in the diaspora. Ms. Kodaki, we appreciate the inspiration this morning, the good music, and I will definitely make all efforts to have our people be there and have financial contributions sent. I'm talking about July the 4th. Now, the issue, you raised the issue this morning about Jack Deere going to court. And I believe that Jack Deere needs to go to court. I believe the PPP executive needs to be taken to court. I believe the PPP party as a chartered entity needs to be taken to court and dismantled, that they must never be able to run again in another election under that raggedy ass name called the PPP. Piss poor performance. So it's a multitasked thing. Now I know Gail Teixeira and Jack Deere and them probably thinking, well, who is this brother here, coffee talk? Well, you just watch and see what will happen. right? I could show you better than I could tell you. So if you think that we just wishing, watch and see. Now, the race is not for the swift, but it's he that it endures to the end. And if I fall in the race, those that are with me are going to carry it to the finish. So you bet your last dollar your days are numbered in Guyana. You're going to have to seek refuge elsewhere. So you better get Charandas to make arrangements for you seeking exile in your mother India. That we could promise you. Your days in Guyana are numbered. You're on a slippery slope. So don't think that when I go in the grave that the mission will finish, or David Hines go in the grave, or Kodaki go in the grave, or people go in the grave. This will go to the end until the moon drops from the sky. So I just want to give you a picture of what you're dealing with. You better act right, or you're done with. So quantify that. If you think that Bin Laden and Boko Haram and the rest of them are a problem, you ain't dealing with nothing yet. So we're serving you notice that you ain't dealing with no flimsy operation. Now the matter of evidence is before us. The evidence, is the evidence sufficient or not sufficient to take Jagdeo to court for sedition of the government? Is the evidence sufficient or not sufficient? I ask Miss Chase of the Guyana Bar Association. I ask you lawyers, is the evidence sufficient for you to stand up and live up to the creed that you swore an oath to as officers of the judiciary? That you will fight justice and protect the Constitution. How come you guys are seeing this kind of evidence before you that renders Jagdeo guilty and the PPP guilty, and you're running and hiding your heads in the sand, but yet you want to chase petty crimes around Guyana, claiming that you want to represent petty crimes. But big crimes in your face, you hiding from. Calling all y'all out in the Bar Association in Georgetown, starting with Miss Chase as the president. If you claim that you are here and take an oath to represent the Constitution, then goddammit represent the Constitution or get the hell out of there. Anyway, a message to Jagdeo and the entire PPP executive. You ain't seeing nothing yet. We're going to chase you to the end of this world. That's my prayer. From the ancestors, we're going to chase you out to Guyana.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you for listening.
Voice note.
Morning, Kidaki. Morning, viewers. Kidaki, you know the Chinese, they get a operation in Northwest where they get a own airstrip. Own airstrip. But they're flying out rail, manganese, and all this kind of thing. Jagdeo don't sell out this country, you know. They get their own thing. I gonna get some information by this weekend, and I gonna let you know. I gonna let you know what really going on. Jagdeo sell this country out. Rail, mineral, these people fetching out these Chinese. I there on the road, that's why you're getting these vehicles traveling and so on. Rail thing, rail in Northwest District. I'm going to give the exact point and everything. Let me get some information by this weekend.
Thank you for that voice note. Lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. This one is 2197. Voice note.
Mobilize and to get. Good morning, Mr. Kadasi and viewers. With the funeral that is coming up on Sunday, what I think they should do, the idea what they should do, they should try to get a lot of people to mobilize and to get to the funeral by transportation. For example, get the them bus drivers, the minibus drivers, to get people from every location that they could get to bring them to the funeral. And what it should do, take that guy, the kid body, to sum up the police station right in front of them, so that let them know what they've done. It could be their own family, you know. That's what I think they should do. Just take the body to different police station, if it's vigilant, or wherever they got some of these what you call it, these police station. And most of all, they should have taken that body to Good morning, Mr. Gaddafi. What they should have done with the funeral that's coming up is not only. Good morning, Mr. Gaddafi.
I think we have the gist of what they call the voice noticing. Next voice note.
Good morning, Kadati. I'm listening to the program. I just be on it every morning once I have the opportunity. And it's hurting to see what's going on in Guyana there. First, all this disrespect and all this advantage and problems coming towards the black people is because the disrespect started since from Janet Jackson, and she threw the writ over her shoulder, and then she put a criminal like Jack Dio in power. The ban is a racist, and a lot of black people can't see that. The Koli people didn't get no love for black people. I tell you, you got to come and see the behavior of these people, these Harakati, Chamar in America here, when in certain pockets in the United States of America, how they live in. They are racist. They don't like black people. And Jagdio is one of them who come from Hindu college and from the East Coast there. They are all Chamar, Harakati. And the disrespect started since from Janet Jackson when she threw the writ over her shoulder. And black people, the black lawyers and those who could have fight the situation, accept it. They never mobilize the people and educate the people. And now it handed down with what Granger did. It passed down. And what Granger get in power, what he did. He didn't make no apology to the black people in the communities. These black people needs motivation. When you call back home and you try to talk to the black people, everybody head hurting them, they're disappointed, they don't know what to do. It's because of the people who were in position is not making no effort. They're making no ground runs on inroads into the communities and talk to the people and edify the people. The young people need education. They need to be edified. Talk to them. Go out there. Keep bottom-out meetings. You call home there to find out what's going on, and nobody get a clue. The young people is sailing. And then they got these banners who they're dressing up in these military and paramilitary groups and using them for watching the Koli people back and the Chinese people back. It's crazy. All the guys who got military experience, they're using them for watching the Koli and the Chinese people back at the different stores and these kind of thing. Yeah, try and go into these pockets, go into East Rumveld, West Rumveld, North Rumveld, Buxtonian, you need to go into Lynn and Blueberry Hill and these places. You got all these little young, these 18-year-olds and 25-year-olds sit down on the corner and looking for handouts. Y'all motivate them. Try to get money. We got to get money and encourage these people to come out and look for and represent the democratic right. And uplift the people, uplift them. When you call home and you try to talk to these people ain't got a clue. Them ain't care. They got to look out for themselves and they ain't got the time.
Thank you for that voice note. Next voice note coming up. Lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Buxtonian Morning Time. Let's make good trouble. Call it out. Good morning. Voice note.
Good morning, Kadaki. I do not have much trust in the court systems in Guyana. To take the PPP and GAGDO to the courts in Guyana, we are wasting time. Our best option is to
call out the line, please.
Get a file of all the names of people who have died extrajudicially, submit it to the International Criminal Court in The Hague, and let the International Criminal Court in The Hague take it from there.
Call it live. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good morning, Kanaki and everybody. They talk about this, people got to mobilize and go out there. Now with what this man said, one of the daughters, he spoke about what goes on and how it is handed down. It went as far back when I think Janet Jagan made the utterance in the 60s of that big word apanjat. And after she used that word apanjat, that was embedded in the population until this time. Now moving along with this Vice News, everybody got their own issues about the Vice News. Jagdio is trying to say that Vice News tried to pull down and Vice News is this. But what I want the public out there to know, that when people like Vice News comes and does something, they are not the illy-billy reporters that they got in Guyana who target one person. Vice News didn't target. Vice News came to do solid investigations into the dealings of what was going on in Guyana. If you listen, critics who I never used to listen to, I saw where listen to a phone call between critics and the same woman, Isabel. Critics went to Barbados. Isabel met him in Barbados. And then when she was to come over here, she made more contact with critics. And the world, the people around saying that these little people who got these little talk, these calling shows and things, they ain't doing nothing. But if Isabel could have reached out to somebody like critics, who Barack used to go and do a lot of calling story with and go on live with. She went into the belly of the beast. When Barack realized that critics was the person who stabbed him in his back like the Shakespeare story. And when they went to the common, Ite, you Brutus, that critics stabbed him, he couldn't realize. Coming off of that, I could remember a few months ago, there was a nice little article popping up on the social media platform where this white woman, a set of white people at a big function, and this man turned to say he was going to give to the charity so much money, and the woman said no. She told the other gathering, we shouldn't accept this money. So everybody looked at her and said, why you mustn't accept the money? And she mentioned that this man is getting money off of bad deals that is going down in the country of Guyana, South America. Now with Barrett and this whole thing that burst out into the open. I listened to a show last night with Mark. Foreign investors with credible backgrounds and credible businesses will not want to come to Guyana to do investment, because when those people will have come here to spend their money and to realize that it is going through scandalous and a thing network like what Barra Jagdi was, it isn't going to go down last. We had a villager who lives in Canada. There was a big plot of land in the neighboring village, and he had his white people for the family, because I think he married a white. And he tell them, look, I could get this land for you. And the people were coming here to do big investment, to do factory and all kind of factory. Anyway, when people like me and Clayton Jacobs realized what was going down, we got our cell phones and we did a note and we put it up, and this thing filtered into Facebook. And when the investor, the white man them, who was to fund this project, realized that the land was not this by land, because he went through underground to get it to the village. And when they realized that this land had a problem, those people pulled the money out, stopped the project, because they just start fencing. And that land now, people go and take it up and is living on it. And it's the same thing is going to happen to Guyana now with this Vice News that is out there. And there is more to the report. That is only a small fraction of the report. Last, you see how Mayo get COVID by the time Vice News leak out, because Vice News went to Barbados. Vice News even got to Trinidad because Trinidad wasn't involved. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call, Rhonda.
Yes, thanks. Bye-bye. I get it, T.
The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. Let's see if we have some more voice notes. I think we do. I see somebody is saying we need to go to, what is it, Lane Avenue and so on. Let me say this, and I'm encouraging you all along, and I'm saying it all along. We need to touch every corner of this country. Every corner of this country needs to identify what ill they have to face. Every corner of this country should have a representative on the road, on the picket, on the protest on the 4th of July. But if you are in that corner of the country, we would like to know that you can make the necessary arrangements. Contact us. Let us work together. Let us see how we can help you to achieve what it is we need to achieve. I might not know a single soul, let's say in Lane Avenue. Do I just walk into Lane Avenue and say, hey, I'm Kidaki Amsterdam? Whereas there's somebody on this program from Lane Avenue looking at me, day in, day out, who has my contact, that can reach out and say, Mr. Amsterdam, I'm from Lane Avenue. We are interested in highlighting our plight on July 4th with you guys. How can we work together? That's what we have to do. This is a partnership thing. This is a partnership thing. Right? This is not employer-employee. We are working this together. So I'm encouraging you again. You think you want to be a marshal on that day? Hit me up and say, well, Mr. Amsterdam, I can assist as a marshal. Can you organize people from your community to come? Mr. Amsterdam, I can organize people from the community, but I would need to get transportation to bring them to point A. We can work on that. Mr. Amsterdam, I will get 60 people to come. What's the guarantee they're going to get refreshments? I'm giving you that guarantee right here. Refreshments will be provided. You need transportation, we will get transportation for you. Placards, we need placards. Are you volunteering to write placards? We can get the equipment to you. The resources. Or if you have the resources that you would want to use and contribute, we welcome that too. But this is a team effort. This is our effort. This is our effort. We have to highlight to the world that the ills that are being highlighted in these programs are not affecting just the hosts, but the real people who are being affected by these issues. And you can only convince them that that is so when you put your bodies on the line. That's my encouragement to you. It is 8 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. I can take another call or so. Well, Spencer Tom, can you organize for us to be in Lane Avenue? Hit me up with day and time. And trust me, I'll clean my calendar and come down there. Yes, the lines remain open, 6225933. You can send your contributions via Cash App, $BUXT. If you're locally, you can use the MMG app and deposit into 6225933 MMG. If you want us to make a pickup in person, you can hit us up. We will do that. You have cardboards to contribute. Tell us how to come to you. We will come for it. You want to write those placards to us, tell us where to find you. We will deliver the resources. Let's work together and make the 4th of July a big success story. A very big one. And of course, on the 30th of July, we will have reasons to celebrate. Because by then, KAMS TV, Buxtonian Morning Time will be 2 years old. And we must celebrate that we've weathered the storm and we have become the storm. So on the 30th of July, we're going to have a get-together at KAMS Place, sideline down Buxton. It's going to take the shape and form of entertainment. Cutters and lime, rub shoulders. I'm thinking about it as chilling with the hosts. You get to rub shoulders and talk with, folks like David Hines and myself, and hopefully we can get Aubrey Norton down here, and so we might have a roundtable discussion and thing. But definitely on the 30th, we're going to have some kind of gathering here at KAMS Hideout, so that we as a group, as a team can, relax and look back on the journey and say, well, yes, we did it for 2 years and we're going to continue to do it into the future because we're serving a purpose. 6 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. Let me share with you a clip that was shared by Ronald Austin.
Tuesday relieved his Vice President Carlos Chilima of all delegated powers after the latter was named in a massive corruption scandal in government contracts already implicating several senior officials. Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera on Tuesday relieved his Vice President Carlos Chilima of all delegated powers after the latter was named in a massive corruption scandal in government contracts already implicating several senior officials. The announcement follows a new report by the Anti-Corruption Bureau, which is investigating British Malawian businessman Zuneth Sattar on suspicion of corruption, fraud, and money laundering. Several ministers and former ministers have already been arrested in connection with the case. The Malawian president also suspended his chief of staff and the country's police chief.
Corruption comes in many forms, and the opportunities to succumb to it in this country abound. But you must resist it at every turn. Because if you do not follow the law will follow you. And if you think that I will use my office to save you from facing a law you have broken, then you are gravely mistaken. You are here to serve, not to rule or boast. Occupying high office is not a license to act high and mighty. The people of Malawi are your bosses, not your subjects.
Y'all heard that? Did you hear that? Let me see if I can play it again so you would know that you heard it clearly.
Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera on Tuesday relieved his Vice President Carlos Chilima of all delegated powers after the latter was named in a massive corruption scandal in government contracts already implicating several senior officials. The announcement follows a new report by the Anti-Corruption Bureau, which is investigating British Malawian businessman Zuneth Satar on suspicion of corruption, fraud, and money laundering. Several ministers and former ministers have already been arrested in connection with the case. The Malawian president also suspended his chief of staff and the country's police chief.
Corruption comes in many forms, and the opportunities to succumb to it in this country abound. But you must resist it at every turn. Because if you do not follow the law will follow you. And if you think that I will use my office to save you from facing a law you have broken, then you are gravely mistaken. You are here to serve, not to rule or boast. Occupying high office is not a license to act high and mighty. The people of Malawi are your bosses, not your subjects.
Why not Guyana? Why not Guyana? Because we divided. And we're not standing as a people for what is right. That is why not Guyana. Voice note.
Good morning, Brother Kadaki. Good morning, Guyana. Good morning, diaspora. Brother Kadaki, for the 30th, for the KAMS anniversary, KAMS TV anniversary.
Call all the line, please. Let's go through this voice note.
Anniversary.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you're planning, if you decide on a round table talk with some of the hosts on the different shows of KAMS TV, could you consider maybe also including the diaspora? Some of us who cannot be there physically, maybe you could do it through Zoom. If it's a round table talk, do it through Zoom so the diaspora could contribute to the cause. Thank you.
Very good suggestion, and of course, once the suggestion comes, we are always willing to work and see how it can work out, how it can happen. Yes, so yes, it's one to be considered. Call A Live, good morning.
Morning, Kadaki, and morning, Guyana. Great discussion. I'd also like to highlight my brother, Coffee, and what he had said, as well as Rhonda. Great information. That clip you just played of the Malawian president sacking his VP. As we know, the fraud is never going to do that. And like the Malawi president said, it is the people, right, that you answer to. So, divided as it is in Guyana, and majority of the people who will be out there are Afro-Guyanese. So you are contrasting the difference when in the 80s, when you guys in the WPE was, protesting the injustices at that time, and you had, I guess, large Indian support. Now, as you said, tables have turned. So where are they? They simply don't believe that their people are capable of doing it, or they just really don't care. They believe that, yes, I don't care whatever he's doing. I'm going to still vote for him. And that's the mentality of those folks. So we are a different people. Africans are different people compared to Indians and some other races. They will stick and stay with badness. What's going on? Look at what's going on here in the United States with Donald Redhead Trump. You've got these people knowing he's been wrong, but still standing by him. So that's the same thing you have in Jack the Hole. He is going to not
be prosecuted because a previous caller said the court system, the police system, now the army is all in cahoots. So I like the protesting and bringing it to have an international flavor where we will see, and that is what it will take. Pressure internally will actually highlight all the ills that have taken place for the past 23 years and continue until this day because they feel they can get away and have gotten away with murder time after time. So unless the pressure comes out, and I applaud you and Dr. Hines, great show yesterday with Politics 101 with Roysdale Ford. They need to go more to the courts, and all the lawyers in Guyana should, and I'm thinking, they should come together and pool their resources for the common good. And I don't know if they're doing that or if they're not saying it, but those are type of things that they should be doing to litigate all these cases. And as pointed out, the CCJ was hearing cases up and down during that 5 months, and all of a sudden, everything is died down. That's because they are working in cahoots with the illegal and racist government, and we are using our own Africans to help them. And that's my take.
Thank you, caller. It's now 3 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. It's obvious that I have to wrap up. I have to go look after my charges, my children. And so that's a wrap. I'll see you tomorrow for KAMS Saturday Rhythm. We're going to have some fun. No, what they say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So we're going to have some fun. But just remember that we have to make this happen in a big way, according to Trump, bigly on the 4th of July. And all of us have a role to play. And I will welcome it if everybody plays their part.